Why the hell am I at a racetrack to drive a plug-in hybrid SUV? Well, the answer is because this is a plug-in hybrid SUV built by Mitsubishi. And despite what you may think about the brand, it is a brand rooted with some history. They've had 40 years in America. They've built some amazing machines, and this does pack the super all-wheel control system. And Mitsubishi wants to show you that even though the Lancer Evo doesn't exist anymore, maybe there's still a little bit of that heritage alive in something like this. And that claim sounds insane. You can make whatever face you're about to make, but I'm about to tell you, they're not wrong. So here's the meat of the specs. They've made this thing wider. It's more SUV-like instead of wagon-like. There's 20-inch wheels, which that's basically what you get on a Disco Sport or an Audi Q5. Everything else in this class has smaller wheels. It's the only 7-seat compact plug-in hybrid electric SUV. Kia makes one, but that seats 6. It's also the best-selling one on the planet, believe it or not. They've increased the ground clearance to 8.3 inches. That's a 1-inch increase. They've increased the cargo space too. You actually have 78.5 cubic feet of cargo space. But the real story is how this thing drives and how it behaves. This is the Polecat training facility in Tennessee, and it is awesome. 2.1 miles of gorgeous, twisting tarmac, cut into the trees. It looks fantastic, and it is a surprisingly awesome place to figure out what this thing is all about. And I gotta tell you, this thing will rotate in a fun way. Now, it's a little wet here. I'm just doing a cruising lap to speak to you on camera. I did some non-talking laps earlier, which I will cut to throughout this. And then additionally, there was supposed to be an off-road portion of this driving event, but they got like 8 inches of rain before we got here. So they turned it into a giant mud pit and let us just try to do donuts in this thing, which was pretty cool to see how the mud mode works in the car. As far as the power specs go, you have 2 electric motors plus a generator. There's one front, one rear.
You don't want to go again?
I would love to go again.
And the ability to add electronics to super all-wheel control, all-wheel drive has made them make it an even better system. It's a software solution to a hardware problem. And they call it the key technology of the Mitsubishi-ness. They said it themselves. All-wheel control has been around since 1987. It evolved into super all-wheel control. And now you have longitudinal torque distribution, lateral torque vectoring, and 4-wheel brake control, but it's brought it to another level. Basically, if you looked at a graph of all this, the amount of torque you could move around and how you can move it around has improved across the board. You also have 7 driving modes. Normal, eco, and power affect the way the throttle responds. And then in terms of adding throttle and steering response, you can switch to tarmac, which is perfect for windy roads and makes it more rear biased. You have gravel, which is also good for rain. And then you have snow, which is good for slippery conditions. And then even deeper than that is mud, which is a traction focused drive mode, not a handling focused drive mode. The EV range has been improved from 24 miles on the previous model up to 38 miles of electric-only driving mode, which is pretty amazing for what this thing is. The combined driving range, gas and electric, is 420 miles. But back to the power specifically. That front motor is bigger, it's an 85 kilowatt motor. The rear motor is bigger, that's a 100 kilowatt motor. And it's that larger rear motor that bakes in the rear biased driving system right out of the gate. The Outlander PHEV is actually on sale now. It starts just over $40,000 for a base model. It goes all the way up to just over $50,000 for the limited 40th anniversary edition. There's an ES, SE, and SEL trim, and all of them come standard with the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. You can then add in front seat massage, which is available. There's passenger memory for the seat. You can make it look really nice with the semi-aniline leather on this SEL top level one here. Right here though, even though it's a little damp, I'm still in tarmac mode, which gives me the most power and the best steering feel. I actually prefer this steering feel the most because in normal mode and there's a power mode, it's just a little too light for my tastes. But here with the in tarmac mode, it feels pretty good. I mean, you shouldn't be able to do this in a heavy plug-in hybrid SUV, but what you can do is throw it into a corner. If you lift a little bit, the rear end steps out a little bit, you get back on the throttle, you just kind of hold it and you smile the whole way through. I was giggling and laughing and having a good time. I got to slow down for this section of track up ahead because there's a group doing the mud driving and they're kind enough to let me do my on-camera piece while they're out here on the track, so I'm gonna go slow. I'm really impressed with this car. You get into a Mitsubishi, and Mitsubishi is in a very weird place right now. But they have a product like this, and it's just a really good machine. And it's priced well for like all that it offers. It's nicely equipped, it's nice inside. There are some touch points that feel a little bit inexpensive, but to offer a 7-seat plug-in hybrid SUV with almost 40 miles of pure electric range with the fully spec'd limited edition one that you do not need for that one's $49,000. That's pretty good these days when everything's so friggin' expensive. It drives nicely when you're in tarmac mode, like I said, with the steering. The brakes, there could be a little bit more bite to the brakes, but I'm not expected to be driving this on a racetrack, so I mean, I'm having conflicting feelings because this thing is just that crazy. They did a really good job, and I get why they're saying there's a little bit of, you know, adventure tuned into this thing. It's fun to drive. It feels good out here. They actually brought the engineer who's been responsible for super all-wheel control all these years. He helped make the Evo what the Evo is, and he's a great person to have out here at the track talking about it. You can feel his passion. Of course, I had to show him the video of when I jumped my Montero, and he seemed to like it, but who knows? It was ridiculous that I grabbed my phone. Look what I did. But if you do this, see that? You can just send it in the corner like that. Oh my God, it's so fun. You can do it in this corner right here. An uphill late. Everything here is like really late. Hey, see that? Oh yeah, but traction control cut in a little bit, but it really lets you get way more angle than you would expect from something like this. It's hilarious fun, it's comfortable, there's good space inside, it's efficient, it's priced well. You can have your issues with the styling of it. I still am not totally in love with the front end of this thing. All the other lines are pretty good. The fenders could be maybe toned down a bit, but Mitsubishi seems to be focusing on good things. They're bringing rally art back as a performance brand, and they're taking it to the motorsports world. They just won some Asian cross-country rally in an awesome version of the Triton, which is a pickup truck that we don't get here, the L200 or the Triton. There's gonna be more rally art coming to showrooms, they said, and more to the racetracks. There's gonna be a rally art version of the Outlander. I don't know if it's plug-in. Initially, it's just gonna be styling, which I agree with you. I can feel you nodding like that's kind of lame. It is, but it seems like there's more to come. So maybe Mitsubishi is kind of getting back on track here in the States and making a solid push to bring us more exciting cars. And I really hope they are, and I gotta tell you, this thing is a blast.